Welcome everybody to this weekly edition of Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong, along with
Uncle Spoke.
And your boy Damon Armstrong.
we hope we welcome you today. Thanks for joining us either right now on YouTube and Facebook. We're live on both platforms. I invite everyone who, I'm going to say this throughout the stream, but I invite everybody who has a comment on what we're talking about, or you want to hear it, you want to get our opinion on something that's on your mind, feel free to go into the comments and we'll address them directly. With that being said, show us a little bit of love and go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe. You know, we would love to share our channel with other folks with like minds. We're looking for our tribe. We speak to everyone, but we especially speak to the folks around our age demographic, because we are many. We are many on social media. We really are. You know what I mean? So do us a favor, like, share, and subscribe. And with that being said, how y'all doing today, gentlemen?
Doing well, man.
Good.
Everything is copacetic, bro.
Good to see you guys. Jaquari, how was your day? How was your week?
They was okay, man. It was a long work week. Man, and it got me to thinking about things, about my mindset, about because I've been doing it for years, man. The old saying or whatever, prepare for the worst, or I forget how to go, but I mean, yeah, I'm just in all situations, man, preparing for the worst or whatever, and no matter if the outcome is positive or not really being able to truly celebrate moments, because
Okay.
I am always trying to prepare for the worst. Yeah, that's exhausting, man.
It is. It's
Especially
exhausting.
doing it, especially how today's time, man. How things are is very strenuous, bro. I agree with you.
I think it's exhausting when I don't think it's. And this is my take on it. I don't think it's exhausting if it's just me trying to figure the things out with what you just mentioned. But when I include everybody else in my mix, it weighs you down. It really does. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Damon, how was your day today?
My day was good, man. It's the piggyback on Jacory. You have your day-to-day struggles, man, but each and every day for 6 years, we find a way to get through it, bro. Should be experts at this shit at this point, man, to be honest with you.
What do you mean, experts at living?
Experts at living, surviving, trials and tribulations, getting through, normalizing shit. All of that. You know what I'm saying?
I think we are experts, man, but expert doesn't necessarily mean flawless.
No, not even close to being flawless.
Shit.
Not at all.
Absolutely. I agree.
My day.
But my day, man, is.
Go ahead, Damon.
My day, man, it was a good day, man. You know what I'm saying? And it took me at the end of the day to recognize that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just have to recognize, man, happiness and good times and being blessed. You know what I'm saying? You just have to recognize it. can't let the world trick you that into turmoil and bullshit, man. I had a great day, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Got up and made me something to eat. And I was like, when I was going through the refrigerator and I found the ingredients, I was like, oh shit, I'm finna eat good today. Shared it with my grandbaby. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Something she ain't never had before. I was like, okay, I know what works.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to be able to, I think, and this is from my own personal point of view, I think a lot of times we include too much outside experience on our growth. And it is semi important. The outside interference is semi important, but our personal growth is what keeps us here and keeps us moving forward and it keeps us achieving, keep us living, loving, all of those different things. Because
Mm-hmm.
what I find at going on this life experiences, when people shut down, they have stopped growing. They stop growing as individuals. And I don't think we ever stop growing. You know. So let's get this out of the way. We talked about it last week. We're gonna say it again. It's funny. It's funny how entertainment seems to be, and I don't think it is. No, I believe it's not, but seems to be all consuming in our everyday lives as Americans, as human beings. In your opinion, where does entertainment come in your life?
Entertainment for me, man, is is a trivial thing, man, that occupies a great deal of my time. Seriously, I mean, it's just there's not a minute in my day where I'm not where I'm either working or I'm scrolling or I'm watching TV. And it didn't used to be like that. It didn't used to be like that. And I used to be critical of people who immerse themselves in technology like that and entertainment like that. You know, but there's a there's definitely a point that I in my life that I could see where things like reading books or freaking walking in the grass barefoot, you know, was just pushed out of my life. You know, as far you know what, I haven't really put any effort into self development. You know, over a long period of time, man,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been concentrating on work. I've been concentrating on uh, frivolous shit that don't really matter. You know, and I'm not complaining. I'm not bitching. I'm not moaning or anything. Because as far as I'm concerned, for me to in order for me to to maintain what I have, my sanity, my position, my finances and everything, man. I can only focus on a couple of things at a time. So like I said, when I'm working, I'm working, and when I'm not, I'm trying to fill that time with some form of entertainment that somebody else created.
Okay. Damon, what about you? How important it is in your life?
Entertainment is for me it's interactive, man. It's something that I literally have in common with my kids, man. You know what I'm saying? I could be riding in Morgan's car and she would play a song, man, running laws, man, and whatever. And I'm like, how do you know about that? Because that's when I saw you happy and in your moment. So she took on that same thing. You know what I'm saying? That reminds her of her father. Now she has her own things that she listens to that she finds entertaining, whatever that I probably can't really truly relate to. But it felt good for her to recognize me in a good place. So for me, entertainment is not about uh for me, entertainment is something that I can hear and experience that takes me outside of myself, and I can say, "Oh man, that was great." I thoroughly enjoyed that situation. New things, new and different experiences, you know, and to understand that you can have those type of experiences in common with your child, and they get what you used to listen to and experience. That's a whole nother thing, man. It's a great thing, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't listen to negative things. My algorithm is not negative. Some of it is informative. That anything that comes across as negative, I try to, move away from it because I don't want to be in that space. So, in a nutshell, my entertainment is all inspirational. Is my point.
So it's very important to you. I see both.
Yeah.
I see both your points, and I agree. I just think that sometimes I'm afraid it's a distraction, but the way you described it, Ja'Cory, is a good distraction because you work hard and you need to let your mind drift off in another direction. You know what I'm saying? Um, when it comes to your work, right? I have a quote from Jim Rohn, the author, motivational author, how to make money and all this, white guy. And this helps. That first question helps you to bring in a clearer picture of this second question. He said, very quotable guy. He said, work harder on yourself than your job. That was the heading. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living, a good living. But if you work harder on yourself while you're doing your job, you'll make a fortune. Let me read that again. He said, if you work hard on your job, you can make a good living. But if you work harder on yourself, you make a fortune. Any thoughts on that, guys?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's some aspects of that statement that ring, that ring true. Uh, the fortune you make when you work on yourself. I mean, it covers more than money. It covers character and and development of that character and everything. So I get it.
Yeah, yeah,
I think, man, for me, that statement means that you might discover that whatever work you're doing might not be for you, and you doing self-discovery. Hey, man, let me try something different. Let me go in a different avenue. You know what I'm saying? You may hate your damn job, but it provides a lot of money in your life. Do you continue to do it and wait for retirement? 30 years later, or do you see what motivates you, see what inspires you, see what inspires you? You know what I'm saying? It's like Keith said, it's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing thing, man, that gives you self gratification and self growth, man. You know what I'm saying? Uncle Calvin told me one time, he said, man, if you're the same guy at 22, at 45, when you were 22, you're living a wasted life, man. You know what I'm saying? What motivates you to wake up every day? Be it a job, be it a loved one, be it whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? You have to be cognizant of that possibility.
Uh-huh.
You know, if it's monetary gains, man, then be about it. You know what I'm saying? That's your thing. But some of us, money ain't our God, man. It's just a tool that we use. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get satisfaction. If you don't love money, you're not gonna get satisfaction from it, bro. You just have an expectation of it. You know what I'm saying? But not love.
Okay. So this speaks on personal development. This quote it speaks on personal development. How much did you invest in your own personal development? Just is it important for you to develop as a person? I mean it in the sense that how you interact with other people, how you react to different situations. Does your personal development change or stay the same as you get older with these things? In other words, does your personal development stop?
It doesn't. I don't believe it doesn't. I mean, it could stagnate. It could definitely stagnate. But I mean, you know, eventually you're going to get tired of running your head into a brick wall, and you're going to figure out that this is something that I need to change.
You said it though.
You know, this is something that I need to work on. You know,
Okay.
and the true enlightenment is coming to that conclusion, man, without outside interference in the way of somebody sitting you down and telling you that, yeah, man, that was fucked up. You know, if you can get a hold of that before somebody else comes and tells you, even in the midst of them probably saying that same thing behind your back, but if you can find that trail on your own, man, I think you're fighting a good fight.
Okay.
I think it's all predicated on good.
It's on you, man.
I think it's all predicated on your life experience, man. You might have, your personal development might be affected by health shit, man. You might come to a conclusion there's some things that you can't do anymore. You know what I'm saying? You might be handicapped by this, by that. So that requires you to expand your personal developments, man. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I can't do this anymore, but I can focus on this and then inspire myself to be this and be that in this other direction that you would never discover unless, you forced to. And I think in that position, you can do one or two things. You can fall prey to it, or you can expand your life and you can discover some things about yourself that you didn't even know that you possess, skills that you didn't know you possess. It's like a blind person who their hearing is magnified, or their understanding of empathy and caring and concern for others. You know what I'm saying? You just see life different, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what life brings us, man, until you go through or experience it. And then you see where your character lies, man. You become better, or do you become something other? I'm saying, and sky's the limit. You don't know until you are put in that position where you have to realize it. You know what I'm saying? And that's a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's personal, you know, and you find yourself going down the path that you never thought. Man, I didn't know I had these skills. I didn't know that I was this empathetic towards my fellow human being. I didn't know, but now I do because I'm going through my own thing. I'm saying, and I'm figuring out another way. You know, it's
You
just
know,
life, man. Life just brings you shit.
so both great points, guys. But you know what? Honestly, for some reason, I don't know if I was trained to be this way towards folks by our parents, but I always try to make sure everybody else is good, right? Not in every case, but as far as not having people be uncomfortable around me. I had an instance where I stood up in front of a crowd. Some of them were strangers, some of them I knew, and I spoke from my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't disappointed in what I said, and I wasn't looking for any approval of what I said, right? Later on, I had a friend approach me, and he said to me, "Sometimes you are long-winded, and you're very long-winded in what you say." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Today you seem long-winded." I said, "Well, wait a minute. I purposely didn't go. I didn't go further than 2 minutes in what I said, right?" Then I realized I'm the type of person that I don't want to make excuses to anybody. And I said, "And so what if I did, right? What's your point? I got my point across, right?" And then I realized who I was talking to. The folks who actually say those things to you are the ones who will not get up and speak before anybody.
Mm-hmm.
They will not do it. Now, sometimes we get into, when we're feeling real comfortable, we get in our circular talk where we'll reiterate the reiteration of our most poignant point, right?
Mm-hmm.
But usually I was very aware that I was not going to be up there that long. And we all discussed that we were all going to say something. And that I came down to the conclusion like, wait a minute. So you telling me, because you had the opportunity to speak, and I said, and this is not a critique of you, but you stumbled over your first two sentences before you got comfortable. And because you stumbled over your first two sentences, you got the hell off that mic, right? Now, am I judging you or giving you my opinion about what you said to me? I said, because, like I said, I only talk for 2 minutes. Now, 2 minutes is plenty of time. It's a lot of time to express yourself. I've learned that. You know what I'm saying? I learned it. But it's funny how the world, even your closest allies, want to dictate how you act. when you're with them. And I can easily say, Jaquari, I can easily say, I don't give a fuck what you think, which is close to the truth.
I probably would have said that.
No, you know why? Because it was a great event. We did a lot of planning, put it together, and it worked. But when we was in a relaxed setting, I guess I was, and this is a good friend of mine, so I'm not bashing him. I'm just like, bro, I've never seen you do that. Now, on a one-on-one basis, right? He's good. Or she's good, one-on-one. But I was a public speaker because I worked in law enforcement. And I had to talk to big crowds all the time. I had to be in front of people all the time. You know what I mean? Am I saying that I was so, with my list, that I was so eloquent? No. What I did was get my point across. I wasn't upset, but I was trying to figure out, why would you even say that to me?
Yeah, I mean, it was a wild thing to say. I mean, just out of the blue, like, you know. But that's the social media effect, man. I mean, people have forgotten that you don't have to say anything.
Hmm.
You don't have to say anything, especially when you don't bring, when you're not bringing anything to the table, anything positive to the table. You don't have to say anything.
Yeah. But, I cut that out, and I think it's a maturity thing, but really, I've wondered that, like, wait a minute. Why are you worried? Okay. My question to both of you guys. In our community, this goes along the lines of this. In our community, why is there a big emphasis on I understand why we have it, but why is there a big emphasis on our home training? In your opinions?
Because, I mean, somebody could commit wholesale murder on us if we didn't have our shit in check.
Okay.
I think it's because it's always questioned, man. If you look at our society and they speak about black people, there's always negativity, concern about it. Okay. So do we feel compelled to say, well, this was my home training, so I don't agree with you? Because we are always questioned about who we are as a people or as individuals. There's always this preconceived idea about who people think who the fuck we are, and have no idea or have interest in it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was gonna say I'm gonna tell you what, man. The story you just told, Keith, it reminded me of something that happened to me, man. 2 years after I graduated from high school, man, I was me and Ma had got off work, and it was a Friday, and we went to a Coney Island restaurant in Ipsy, right? And I seen a young lady I went to school with, I graduated with. And I greeted her, hey, how you doing, and all this and all that, and we were talking, as we were waiting for our order. And she said, "Can I tell you something?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." She said, "In all our years in school together, I was always afraid of you." I was like, "Wow!" And it hit me. It hit me deep. It hit me real deep because I never displayed any animosity towards her or around her or around anybody who would get it back to her that I'd done it. And it put me in a space, man, where I was second guessing all my relationships because we weren't tight, but we were friendly enough to speak. and all of a sudden you was afraid, and we talked. We we didn't talk every day, but we talked. So I mean, you just put me in a box because I'm bigger than everybody, or because I'm brooding. Your perception of me is brooding. I'm brooding and shit, or I have a scowl on my face or whatever. And I don't think it was a fair assessment because you know me.
Did she explain to you why she was afraid?
She said some words, man, but it didn't fit the bill for me. She told me these things in front of my mother.
It's falling on deaf ears, huh?
Yeah,
so
absolutely deaf ears. She
it
told
could,
me, yeah,
you were insulted, so it could have been a valid jaunt, but he was like, wait a minute, we know each other too well for you to say you was afraid of me.
yeah. I mean, it would have been different if she would have said, we used a little standoffish, or you thought you was better than people, but she said she had fear of me,
Okay.
and I had
You want to
absolutely
know what my
had absolutely no notion as to why she would say that.
you want to know what my experience in those type of situations has always been. This has always been the situation when they in front of a damn crowd, they make those type of statements to me and all that stuff. And I would be baffled and confused because I was like, man, damn, didn't you just call me and wanted to sit down with me and talk about your experience with your woman or your experience with your so-called friend or this person like that? You didn't have those questions when you were asking me to console you on that level. But when in front of the people that you did not claim to be your friends, you chose to make that statement to me. Make the shit make sense, man. Because the one thing that you need to recognize is that when you made that statement to me and confronted me, I didn't bring up the bullshit you brought to me the other day that nobody knows about. Why you feel compelled to challenge me on that? Do you have regrets of the shit that you said to me? You know what I'm saying? So when you think about it in that aspect, it's out of my hands. Though that's an issue you have to deal with. And I don't choose to challenge you challenging me because I know what the relationship is.
That shit hit
with the nod, wink, wink bullshit.
that shit hit different when it comes from black people, though, man.
You know what, man?
It is what it is, man. And you choose. I mean, if you look at the situation the way it is, and you know the truth, it's your choice whether or not you engage in the bullshit. It's your choice. You're not going to trigger me on anything because you feeling insecure because you told me something personal and you regret it. That's your issue, not mine. And guess what it's going to always be between us. I'm not going to blow you out. I ain't no fucking insecure ass or child ass person. I'm not going to blow you out because you want to feel good about yourself. I know all aspects about you because you told me. But you want to challenge me on some shit. That ain't my business. That's yours. That's your issue. But remember, you was humble. You was meek and you was mild when you came to me. I didn't come to you. And you told me all these different things, and all of a sudden now you want to challenge a motherfucker? How do I look engaging that shit? How do I look in interacting with it? That's not my issue. And then later on down the line, hey, bro, man, you know what? I want to apologize, man. I was tripping that day. Dude, come on, man. I don't even engage in it. I just listen. And I say, all right, bro, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. I don't throw up in your face, but hey, dude, let me tell you about your life. You know what I'm saying? That's guarded and trusted. I don't betray that. I don't betray that. But everybody got something to say about me. And it's like, okay. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. We have an understanding. And I don't take it no further than that.
But then when you cut that person off, it's you that looks petty.
You know what?
I don't get it.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I am probably one of the, and I don't use this loosely when I say it, one of the most accommodating, nicest people you want to meet. Right? This is across the board shit. But because I'm that way, it doesn't mean that I don't have a active switch going. Meaning, I'm not talking about we're gonna handle this in the street. No, when it comes to, in my eyes, when it comes to relationships with people, interaction, whether it be your friends, your family, your girl, your wife, any interaction, I will have this conversation, and if you take it to the next level, I'll meet you there. And the only reason why I want to meet you there because I don't want the relationship we have to be damaged. Meaning, you have to understand one thing. If we're friends and you just see this one side of me, the jovial, joking side, listening ear, and this has happened before, and you make the mistake and think that's all that I am, and you see the side that I keep from people because it's a too truthful side. Because if I got a relationship with you, I see you.
Right.
I hear everything that you tell me.
Right.
I might, and I don't just take from you. I give at the same time because we're interacting. So I share information about me. It has been times when people see that side of me, and I'm not talking about the Green Hulk side. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm talking about the fact that when I have looked through your facade and saw that hurt child that you share with me without knowing that you're sharing with me, and then you think that you want to talk to me any kind of way and feel some kind of way, it's a hell of a surprise when it happens. And you know, I've always found, and this last thing, I've always found it funny, especially in our community, when you're out in the world and you're not a sucker, but you still accommodating the people. I'm not talking about when you're doing some stuff you ain't got no business doing. I'm talking about just out in the world. They want to see that as being weak. You know, and I'm like, wow. I mean, thinking to myself, what the fuck kind of person am I talking to right now? You know what I mean?
But you know what? That's the easiest thing to do, to come to that conclusion, man. You know what I'm saying?
You're forcing that conclusion, brother.
Yeah, what other conclusion benefits you?
You're forcing that conclusion.
Yeah, so that's self-preservation.
It is self-preservation, man, if you choose to come to that conclusion. But if you know inside real shit about this person, but they want to step to you and be on the same level as you, I'm saying that can be brought in a situation where it's security involved, or regret involved in all the different things. See, you have to be able to navigate in those situations where you say, okay, this person had, this happened to me so many times, man, where I automatically come to the conclusion like that person regretted, all the shit they said to me.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying? So they presented this challenge to make themselves feel,
this is where you get to the
vindicated or whatever the case may be.
This is where you get to the I don't give a fuck moment. Because
is that your character?
Let me hear. It is my character. See, you look, folks that's watching, understand this. I have different forms of my character. I am the same person, but I am angry as this person. I'm happy as this person. I am dynamic as this person. I don't hide anything from anyone. Now, this is not those kind of people getting on my nerves and people testing me shit. No, I never understood, unless you actively try to hide yourself from people, why people don't assume that you are the type of person that you present to them. Because I do. When you're talking,
do you think, bro?
Go ahead.
Do you think, bro, man, that all those feelings that you experiencing might come from disappointment, man?
Maybe, but see, here's the thing.
I mean, how many people can touch your life like that to the point where you get, you interact like that and you cut them up and down?
That's not touching my life, bro. What it is reciprocation. That's what it is.
Well, you know what? My whole point is this, not to cut you off, but my whole point is if I react in kind, it's because that person disappointed me.
Okay, so listen to what I'm saying to you.
Because I thought we had a relationship on that level. And apparently we didn't.
Hold on. What I'm saying to you is not in reaction to what happened to you, what I would do. You see what I'm saying? I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm saying to me how I respond to those situations. You have your way of responding. You see what I'm saying? Because when you were sharing it with me and Jaquari and our folks in the comments, it's not you was looking for an answer. You was giving an example of the situation that you was in. So I didn't look at it like, hey man, you know what you should have told them and blah, blah, blah. No, not at all. I think I was going along with your conversation and thinking about throughout my life now how I reacted to those things. You see what I'm saying? That's all. So no, don't get me wrong. I didn't want you to misunderstand thinking that you should have done it another way, because you handled it your way, man. And you know what I mean? And you good with it. You feel me?
My only point is this, man. If you have an interaction with a person that's telling you personal things about their life that they're struggling with, and then they turn around and betray you, not with shit you said, but you being confused about their interaction with you afterwards, it's like, damn, what's your motivation, bro? Why do you at one point be this way and then be this way, challenging me in certain ways? And it's like, you wasn't like that last week. You needed me.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, I'm the nemesis. I'm the subject of discussion. It doesn't make sense to me. So for me, it's not for me to be engaged with an interaction going back and forth. For me, it's like, it's confusing, man. It's confusing to me to this degree. You trusted me in this aspect, but now all of a sudden you being the exact opposite. It don't make sense for me.
Well, that's my point. And Jaquari, if you have a comment, chime in. That's my point. Where you got these people, your example, somebody sharing with you, and then when he gets in front of a crowd, or feeling down, now is this. You know what I'm saying? I do the extra work, right? Not so I can cut somebody down, but I'm not confused if a person does that, because I take the extra time to listen to their words, to indirectly ask them questions along those lines, because when they're comfortable with telling you about them, folks will tell you who they are.
But what if you come to the conclusion in that situation, bro? Damn, everything that we described, and you come to the conclusion that, damn, bro, you got some issues, bro, with me. That's not mine.
Yeah.
That's yours. So I'm not going to engage you in that. I'm just not going to fuck with you anymore.
I mean, that's the way to go.
And guess who loses a friend? Not me. I don't have to puff my chest out because you trying your best to be offensive towards me. No, bro. You wouldn't say that same shit when I shot you some shit. When I supported you in a situation, you wasn't saying none of that. But now you saying it, that's not my issue. That's yours, and I don't have to address it. Now, if I'm insecure, I would give a fuck about the damn crowd and how they respond. But I know the truth.
Look, I get it. Jaquari, you look like you wanted to comment.
Yeah, it's insecure or not, man. A fucked up.
I'm not saying that about anybody. I'm just telling you my perspective.
Let them finish, damn it.
It's insecure or not. I'm not saying that you did. It's insecure or not, man. If somebody makes a fucked up statement or comment about you to the crowd, it grows legs, man. It grows legs. And if you don't, if you
I agree.
If you don't address it,
I agree.
If you don't address it if you don't address it a certain way, then those legs are gonna start running.
Yeah, and you know what you do? You do it the old school way. And this is partly joking, but serious at the same time. Motherfucker, I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about the rest of these motherfuckers around here.
Right.
Now, whether it grow legs or not, they know where you coming from the gate. You know what I'm saying? And it's not one of those kind of, because see, the three of us have different opinions about handling this shit. See, me, don't get me wrong, I ain't that I'm going to confront it. I'm gonna look at him and say, hey man, because I want you to give me a reason to dig into your shit, if that's where you're trying to go with it. But see, that's how I handle it. You see what I'm saying? That's all. But go ahead, Damon.
I learned from the master, man, 30 years ago. My wife. Oh, that's how you feel? That's how you think. Okay. We can agree not to be fucking friends. And I can show you better than I can tell you. You know what I'm saying? And I live by that mantra. Okay. Last week you was this way, and this week you want to put me on blast and shit, or whatever that you think you know, or whatever that your mindset is. Okay. Listen, we don't have to fucking talk to each other anymore. We can agree not to be friends. No harm done, no this, no that. You let me know how you feel, and I'm gonna step the fuck off. I'm gonna step off. And we don't have to fucking be friends with each other. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to say, well, you called me last week with this problem. I don't have to say none of that. That is something internally that they gonna have to experience in real life their damn self.
Yeah.
Because apparently I was a fucking friend last week when you came to me with your shit. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, because you feel insecure about what you said to me, you want to challenge me on some shit or question me about this or that. All you did was show me you weren't a fucking friend. That
right.
I'm not truly your friend.
Okay, hey, look. Let's put this to bed, and we're gonna move on to something else. Any last things, real quick? Damon Ja'Cory, any last things?
Yeah, the way I handle it, man, I've dubbed myself the king of the pretty fuck yous. I don't need to raise my voice. I make my statements eloquent and poignant and to the point, and then I move the fuck on.
All I gotta say is that you know what, in that type of situation, motherfuckers always come back, and it's like, come on, bro. You called it. Why are you calling me?
Yeah. I wanted to talk about something. I watched the podcast last night. Former Pitt alum that I knew, one of my OGs back in the day. He invited me to watch his podcast, and they were talking about relationships because it was a pastor. Forgive me, pastor. I wanted to get your name and all that, but Jerry Archer, you know who it is. If you're watching me, shout out your podcast. Put in the comments if you're watching us tonight. But they were speaking on, from a biblical point of view, men's interaction. I caught it at the tail end of it. But what I got, that part about is men's interaction with women, on how the godliness has gone out of relationships. I'm paraphrasing. The godliness has gone out of relationships. And men are not as, when it comes to relationships with their wives, what's suffering is, the things that's suffering is the wife or the woman in the black community now. The wife or the woman wants to take on more of an independent role, and does not want to submit to her husband, right? And the three of us, we come from strong black women, right? And those strong black women depended on their men to lead them. That's the old school thing, right? So in my question to you guys is this: what I just said to you, is it, in your opinion, is it exaggerated, or is it a problem where our wives do not want to be led by us in our household? Do you think it's exaggerated, or do you think it is borderline epidemic?
So can you go ahead, Spoke?
I think it's exaggerated. I think it's exaggerated, man, because you can't go into this venture thinking it's going to be one way. It's never going to be the same from day one to 30 years down the line. It's never going to be the same, and for you to have that expectation, it's just not realistic. Now,
Okay.
what I mean, subsistence. What the fuck is submission in the form of subservience? I don't think I have much use for that.
I think that mixes into it because back in the generations before us, they went hand in hand because the wife, unless she had to go out and work, right, was a homemaker. She stayed home, and the husband went out and provided.
Yeah, but you can't write a thing in a book millions of times and have millions of people read it over and over again and make it true.
Oh, it was true. It was true, bro.
If it was true, if it was true,
What do you mean?
If it was true back then it wouldn't be so hard to achieve today.
I mean,
But see, I think, man, that we skipping steps, bro. Real talk.
oh, so you
I think-
understand it enough to comment? What steps are we skipping?
Now, follow me for a minute. When you look at the Bible, it speaks about how a woman should be this to the husband and stuff like that, right? When you look at our experience in America as Black people in America, that bond, that situation was totally destroyed. It was what it was, right? And when it came down,
You lost me there. What was totally destroyed?
slavery, right?
Okay.
Was it about the man and woman? Was it about that?
When it was
When you
over,
think about,
when it was over,
when you
with,
think
it was
about-
the man and the woman. But go ahead.
well, right, when you think about it in its totality, I mean, how it really truly was in the real situation, and I might get in trouble for this, right? When we were enslaved in this country, right? Who was in charge of our survival? Who was it? No matter what the situation was, whatever they had to endure, wasn't the Black woman who had to survive the situation, right?
If she was by
And-
herself, yes.
Once it was all said and done, everybody wanted to be about the Bible and say, you know what, the man should be leading this and leading that. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have never survived this shit.
Okay.
That's just factual, bro.
I can't say it's factual because I wasn't there. But if you say it's factual, then we would not be in the position. Hold on. We wouldn't be in the position where we are now. See, I always speak on this. Everything that's been described about the Black community was a small percentage of it, I think.
What's innate in everybody, man? The fact that you need to survive whatever you're going through, right? Do you know, man, once we got emancipated and came out of slavery, there were children who didn't have parents? Who the hell you think took on those children and raised them?
I don't understand your point. What does it have to do with the fact that we're talking about subserviency? You said
that female in that thing that was innate in female survival. Hey, this child don't have a parent, don't have a mother, whatever. Let me take it on.
Okay, I get that, but so what does
in terms of survival? What I'm saying is this, bro. We as men or whatever, we have this innate thing that's in us to say, you know what, we have to be in charge, be in control to make this happen and that happen. A patriarch type of thing. But did the patriarch thing make us survive from slavery up to this point?
Yes.
Was it patriarch?
Yes. I mean, I don't understand why you're saying that, man.
Explain that to me.
Because marriage was a big thing after slavery. Because they were not permitted to marry. because
Okay.
they were looked at as property.
And
But
that marriage was predicated on what? What the Bible says. You know what I'm saying? And I would dare say, which was an antiquated.
why?
New Testament is progressive, bro.
What the, bro? I'm not trying to be difficult. What are you saying when the simple?
What I'm saying.
Let me ask you guys this question.
What I'm saying is throughout history and throughout life is everything is predicated on the time that it is and what you're experiencing and going through.
Okay.
So you have to have a progressive thought to survive this shit. And then once we became free and whatever, we want to go by the book and say, you know what? Male this, male dominance, male being the head and all that stuff is in place now. But was it in place for 400 fucking years? When that black woman had to survive this shit, survive the rapes, survive all these different things.
Hold on.
Make a connection with displaced children and all that stuff.
I'm confused about what point you're trying to make, bro. You said no. Hold on, Jaco. I'm sorry. You said that after slavery, black women had to survive by themselves. Is that what?
No, I said during slavery.
Yeah, I get that.
There had to be this situation in place.
Okay.
Right? What did black women had to deal with during slavery?
Yeah,
what did they have to deal with?
Okay, so
rape, all these, and we survived it.
Yeah. Okay.
Really quickly. How many books of the Bible was written by women?
We'll never know because it's a patriotic book.
No. I mean, it says so in every Bible that every Gideon's Bible, they use the names of the people who supposedly wrote the Bible, right?
Yeah.
Right.
How many of those people are women?
You got Ruth. You got Ruth write a book. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So my point being, okay, and this kind of like,
okay,
it kind of like includes your point also, Damon, but in a skewed way. My point being, okay, your original question. Well, I'm not quite sure what the original. I can't.
Esther and Ruth. Go ahead. You finish your point. You got it.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not quite sure what your original question was, but okay. Why would we as black men govern our home lives with a book that was used to enslave us? With a book that dictates marital relationships and there's no interaction from women. They didn't have a seat at the table.
That's a good question.
So why are we still using that tool to govern our households?
Okay. I see what you're saying, right? But you also have to consider how a man was taught and also alongside how women are taught, right? As they grew up. Meaning, do you think a black woman, and it's the question you need to ask, you think a black woman, and Tiffany, you can chime in, do you think a black woman is automatically nurturing? Or was she taught to be nurturing?
She's automatically nurturing.
So a man is not nurturing. So he.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I'm asking you the question: is a man nurturing? A
man's nature is to be protective,
He had
to lay down his life to
a
take
man
care of that woman that's being nurtured.
Hold on. Listen to what I'm saying to you. A man is taught to be protective.
No, that's innate in them. They're not taught. They just automatically that.
Nah, it's see you speaking toward the human condition, right?
Well, how else can you speak towards it?
Because the human condition is we are a blank slate when we're born. Everything that comes to us, somebody has brought to us. Is that you don't think so?
Hey, bro, go ahead, bro.
As I said before, man, you can write it in 1,000,000 books, man, and have 1 billion people read it. It doesn't make it true.
Jaquari, I understand where you're trying to go with this, but Jaquari, let me ask you a question. What
I want to understand where you trying to go with it, bro.
Listen, you do understand what I'm saying to you. The simple fact that you both are saying how you feel about something, and you're not listening to what I'm saying to you.
Okay, what you saying?
What I'm saying to you is this: we're all taught to be a certain way, period. Right? Whether you don't agree with what's in the Bible being taught to be a man or be a woman in the Bible, I understand that. I respect that. But as children, we are born, in my opinion, with a blank slate. So what we're being taught is now our personalities as we go, because we have freedom of choice. What we're being taught is like, yo, okay, you want me to be that way. I'm not going to all the way be that way. It's done in different degrees. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So the thing about it is, whether you agree with whether or not the man is supposed to make all the decisions, the man is supposed to do this, the man is supposed to do that, and the woman is supposed to do this, it is a need to do what works for you and your family. But you need to know it all. Because
are you talking about what?
But how do you know how to treat each other if it's not written somewhere?
Okay. So how do a woman choose a man?
Let me finish, man.
Go ahead, bro.
I'm not saying, Jaquari, that you have to believe everything that you read. Has nothing to do with that. But you have to receive all information so you can make the right decision for you. That's just my opinion. And I'm not saying you two was opposing that opinion, but we see, the three of us see it from different angles, right? And I want all the information so I can make the best decision for me. And what was
okay, but you made the statement that it's learned and all that stuff, and I made the statement that
it's not.
I made the statement that it's innate in us to take on those certain roles.
Tell me how. Just tell me how.
Okay, here's how, bro. Here's how. See, we talked about the Bible. Okay, Jesus. Who was the first to see him rise from the grave? Who was the first to see it?
We're not talking about.
Hold on, bro. Listen to what I'm saying.
I want you to tell me how.
You want me to agree with you. You don't want to hear what I have to say. You want me to agree with you.
No, how? I'm asking you. You said it's innate in us, right? I told you it's learned.
It is.
Okay, so tell me your example of how it's innate. That's all I said.
Okay, so when you have a family, what's the first thing that comes in your mind when your child is first born as a man? What's the first thing that comes in your mind?
What do you mean the first thing in my mind? What?
The first thing that came in my mind was, I have this responsibility. Be it I raise girls or boys or whatever. I have to be that person who's protective of the mother and the child.
Because you
That's
were
innate in us.
no,
That's
because
automatic.
you were see, I have to disagree respectfully
Okay.
because you were taught that as you was growing up by examples of your father, your uncle, your grandfather. They showed
No,
you
I
that.
felt
What?
I saw how they conducted themselves and how they moved in life, and I got examples from it.
So
But when
tell
I had my first child, I knew what I felt internally, bro.
you felt okay. So you mean to tell me that, all right, I'll go as far as saying they go hand in hand. How about that? It'll wake something within you.
I,
You being
I
taught,
I agree with that.
you're being taught by example, and then when you experience it yourself, right? Now all of a sudden, what's inside of you kicks in.
Right.
So I was trying to what I was trying to say.
And I can draw from my previous people that was before me. I can draw from them how to conduct myself and how to navigate it and make it happen. But initially, my first thought was, if I had a baby girl, if I raised a baby girl, I mean, if I had a baby girl, my thought process was, okay, I need to adjust how I think in the masculine situation and be more
And
cognizant of how to raise that baby girl. I
you
just
said,
can't be.
so you're saying that's innate in you. That's innate.
It is innate in me.
How? Tell me how.
Okay, here's an example. You
Now,
talk about.
now, I'm just saying to you. See,
Do you mean to answer how you want me to answer? Or you want me to tell you?
First
This
of
is
all,
like
you just
this is
said to me
this is
that
this
you
is
took the example of the people in front of you on how
I
they.
said.
Hold on, man.
I said.
You
What's
want
wrong
to
with
take
me
one.
using and learning from it?
All right.
it's this look, this is a classic nature nurture conversation, man. I mean, I don't really think there's one
It
right answer.
really is.
It's I mean
It really is, bro.
But
you
but see, this is what I'm
Go
saying.
ahead, Spoke. Finish your point,
All
man,
right,
because
man.
you're
No,
absolutely right.
let me finish my point because I said to you both because you were basically talking about how people are following the Bible and you may disagree with it. That was the energy of it, right? And I said, well, we learn from what we read also, and I take in all information to make my own conclusion. That's what I
Right,
said. That's what I said.
right.
Now, when we went down to you keep telling me, I'm saying I want you to answer it my way. No, what I said to you was that they are a blend of it. Nature and nurture is a blend for most human beings, Jacquari. It's what it is. It's not one or the other. Not one or the other.
I said that, bro. But
Jacquari just said it. Shrug your shoulders if you want to, bro. Jacquari just said that.
Keith, I said it's in. This was my argument, and I don't want to belabor the argument. This was my argument. I said there are certain natural things within man and woman that's innate in how we conduct ourselves moving forward. You know what I'm saying? We are absolutely put in a position where we protect and all of those different things, right? We are absolutely in that position. That's who we are. You know what I'm saying? That's who we are. And in that understanding, you know what I'm saying, there are certain aspects of each one of us as different genders has a role to play that makes a family structure function in the right way. It's not about patriarch. It's not about nothing. It's a conglomerate. It's a thing that we all come together and function with.
How? Being taught it, reading about it. How do you come to that conclusion?
it doesn't matter what you're taught, man. You know, with experience, it either works for you. It either works for you or it doesn't.
See, you think I'm talking about it doesn't work. I'm saying to you, you want to tell me that it happens automatically. How do you know what it is? If you've not had an example or somebody tell you about it, how do you know what it is? You feel what I'm saying? How do you not know? And that's my point, is they all go together. You even said it's not one or one side. It's both. You have to know what's coming for you to recognize when it comes. Now everybody else might see it differently, but you have to think about this. When it comes down to it, you gotta have an idea before you recognize what you're going through. That's just my point. That's my opinion. That's all it is. I didn't disagree with none of what y'all are saying, but I was saying, but I also did put in that caveat. The books of the Bible, there is some framework on how to be with someone.
From a man's perspective.
I get it, because men wrote them, except for two.
So why are they still relevant?
Why?
Yes.
If those frameworks are not there, Jaquari, how would these marriages be working right now? Not all of them succeed, but I'm saying to you, how would they be working now if it wasn't some kind of framework?
They worked the way they worked before the Bible was written. The world didn't start the world didn't start when the Bible was written.
But before nobody documented it either.
Yeah, they did actually, and a lot of
so
those,
it was documented.
A lot of those societies were matriarchal. They weren't patriarchal.
Okay,
and they were successful.
Matriarchal
so
meaning that you appreciate the woman, you don't dominate the woman.
No, matriarchal. I mean matriarchal in the fact that those societies were led by women.
Bro, you know what? You want to know what's factual, man? And I hate to keep going to the Bible and all this stuff. You know what's factual, man? You know when Jesus was going through doing his ministry, you know who was supporting him? You know when he laid his head down, when he ate and all that stuff, you know who was supporting him? Women. That's just factual.
So
do your research. My point is, after that situation that happened in real time that was factual, it became patriarchal. It became the man this, the man that, whatever. But his ministry was predicated on women.
His ministry was predicated on everybody, man. Now, if you say that women took care of it, fine.
All right.
So
when he rose from the dead, who was the first people who saw him to spread the word? Who was it?
So why are you bringing it up? I'm asking you.
Bro.
What is your point?
My point is a marriage is an equal thing, bro. It's not patriarchal. It's about if your wife comes to you and say, hey man, we have this opportunity to do this, and then you say to her, man, we're not dealing with that. And then you come to the conclusion that you missed out on some shit. That you missed out on some shit, being stubborn, not listening to your equal partner.
Listen.
Because you want to be the man, you want to conduct this, and you want to move in that direction, and you miss out, and you struggle, and be bitter.
So tell me, so what part of this conversation has to do with what you're saying?
What part of this conversation has to do with what the hell you saying, bro?
No, I was speaking on what was going
You and
on.
I, no.
No,
You
no,
and
hold
I
on,
can.
hold on. You just said to me.
You keep cutting me off,
No, I don't. I don't cut you off. You came on here.
bro.
I asked you what
It's
does
an
that have to do
equal
with it?
thing
Okay.
that everybody bring their
What does that have
everybody bring in a marriage. Everybody brings their skills and talents to the same situation where everybody can prosper and persevere. That's just what a marriage is.
When did we start talking about that at all? Is what I'm asking you.
Well, you know what? You got me there, bro.
No, I'm saying you.
I don't know.
You're saying it like I was arguing against all this.
I
stuff
felt like he was being argumentative.
because you weren't listening to me.
Is that the case?
Yes.
Maybe I was listening to you.
Okay.
Maybe I was listening to you.
You heard me say to you. You heard me say to you.
In all relationships, bro, we can't agree to disagree and respect each other's point of view. Or do we come to the conclusion that I wasn't listening?
First of all, if you had heard what I was saying to you,
Okay.
each time that you brought up a new subject, I asked you, what does that have to do with what we're talking about?
I thought I was on point. I don't think I brought up anything though. See how we disagree with each other?
So what? You're not. What does that mean, though?
What that means is that me and you can agree to disagree and respect each other's point of view. Your point is I wasn't listening.
And you were not listening to me.
Okay. Then we can.
Because I said to you.
It is what it is.
I said to you 5 minutes ago that they both can coexist, right?
Did you say that?
Yes.
I definitely missed that.
I know you did because you wasn't listening to me.
Okay. I wasn't listening.
I said it twice.
Or maybe you didn't articulate yourself.
I think it's time to move on, fellas.
First of
all,
I
do. I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. But Jaquar, before we move on, didn't I say that they both can coexist?
I believe so.
All right.
Jaquar, did he come to that conclusion in the argument?
Hey, man.
Did he lead with it?
Yes.
Look, I believe it's time to move on, man.
Right. You can agree with him, but was that the basis of our argument or our conversation?
He just said it to you, and then now you don't want to agree. What the hell is what's going on?
Because that's my prerogative, man.
All right.
Because I didn't feel that was the case.
Okay, you didn't. And then,
okay, and
all right, Keith. What's the next question, man?
Why the hell did he come on here being a dickhead? That's why. That's the next question. No, I'm just fucking with y'all. Look, man, I'm telling you now, Fluke, and I'm not bringing this up, but you need to listen to me because I listen to you.
We'll take that route. That's good. I don't have a problem with it, bro. That's good. We'll take that route.
Did I say that?
That's me. That's me agreeing to disagree. There's no animus there. None of that. I hear what you're saying. I don't understand. And we good.
I don't understand when we disagree that, but we good.
Damn.
But as I said today, when it came down to people knowing who you are, right? As you're moving on to just having relationships with people, You can tell who understands you by, and that's why I want your opinion about this. You can understand who understands you by how they respond to your question. Like, say if you call somebody and you have to get something off your chest. They find a way to reverse it and talk about their problems. How do you get through that on a personal basis? Because you really have to get it off your chest, but the person that you're trying to talk to about it, do you think that they want you to talk about yourself? Or do you think that they deep down on feel that they can help you? So they switch up the conversation to them.
I think you don't hold that space, man. That's not what that person needs you for.
Okay.
So they don't really put up a lot of effort. Like it's when you said understanding, I was going to ask you understanding the statements that I'm making or understanding me as a person. I don't seek understanding. Like I don't desire for people to understand me as a person. You take me as I am.
Okay.
But if I say something that catches your ear, I'm more than willing to expound on it. But I stopped searching for validation and understanding a long time ago, man.
Gotcha.
But what if you in a space where you a fucking asshole, man, and you only concerned about how you feel, and you reaching out to people to address that how you feel?
I've never
What adjustments do you make?
I've never occupied that space.
I've never occupied that space either.
Then are you the right person to call?
If you don't have nobody else to call.
To many, I am.
My point is, if I call you with a problem that I'm going through and you start talking about yourself, are you concerned about what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling? Or you just want to come to a situation where, you know what, it is what it is, or whatever.
If I'm faced with a situation like that, man, I just assume that they don't have the capacity to understand where I'm trying to come from.
But if they call you with their shit, why do they need to understand you if they trust your judgment?
Because that's my blessing.
Why you can't see outside of yourself to understand what the hell they're coming from?
I think that the reason why you can't think outside of yourself because some people are self-centered and they're not capable of doing it.
So you lead with, hey nigga, I got my own problems. I know you going through some shit, but I got my own problems. Lead with that. And let them judge whether or not you the person to call.
I mean, if you want to take that approach, yeah, you could do that. But it has to do with the question that I asked, though.
Isn't that the point, though, bro? And here's the thing. Let me say this, and I'm gonna stop talking. If I call a person with my problems, and then they start talking about themselves, and they say, "Hey," and I say, "Hey, man, why don't you just lead with that shit?" I don't take it personal because that person feels that way. Because life is life. You're not in the position to correspond with that person. You're not in a position. So you say, hey bro, I understand you're going through a lot, but I got a lot of shit I'm dealing with.
When 2 days later, you calling him trying to get the shit off your chest after you say that to him.
Well, of course you're going to come to a conclusion, bro. because it matters, and because it matters. If I call a person and I'm going through a certain thing, and the only thing they can do is deflect and talk about their shit, then it's easy for me to come to the conclusion that they ain't trying to hear it. It ain't personal. They're just going through their own shit. But don't act like I'm bothering you. Especially if I chose you
in those situations
to talk
man,
about it.
Yeah, in those situations, man, once you notice it, you got to make it a quick. You got to make it a quick call.
Well, so it can be a simple answer. It can be a simple thing. Hey, dude, I ain't in that space. All right, bro. I respect that. And you keep it moving. It's really that simple, man.
It's not that simple, but it's an answer. It's an answer. I mean, you know, if you want somebody to be there for you, why would you, even if you're going through some shit, why would you not want to be there for them?
That's a great question. I mean, that there is the answer. I mean, you have to come up with an answer. You can't be dismissive. If I call a person and I'm fucking in distress, and I call the person and then they start talking about themselves, what good is that doing me? You know what I'm saying?
That's why
I have to do double duty. Man, you know what? I was going through this shit, but let's talk about you now. Because you going through some shit that might be just as equal or worse. It doesn't solve my shit. I, in my distress, have to be understanding about you.
I get it. So
I have to be understanding about you. Matter of fact, when I'm thinking about it, in response to that situation, I'm asking myself the question that if I called you to talk about me, how come you didn't call me to talk about you?
the reason why I asked the question was, how do you seek out help for yourself if you feel like you don't have anybody? And prayer is always an option, but if you don't have anybody, how do you seek out help for yourself?
I don't.
Okay.
That's why I deal with high levels of anxiety and loneliness.
Okay.
With the understanding that somebody might be going through the same shit as you.
Well, I mean,
I'm just speaking mostly about yourself right now, bro.
Yeah, if there's anything selfish about me, it's the fact that I don't give a shit what they. If I'm going through something, I don't care. Because
Well, then there it is. There's the answer.
I've been put into the mind. Well, I came into the mindset that I don't have anybody to vent to. So I just deal with situations the best that I can.
So is it something that then you can answer next, Damon? Is it something that you, some kind of hobby, some kind of thing that takes the edge off so you can keep going?
I think that it's not about, see, we as human beings have the tendency, man, to have an answer to shit, as opposed to just listening to a motherfucker. If you listen to a motherfucker, then without speaking or coming up with your own shit, you just listen, you might come to an understanding of what that person is dealing with and going through. You just might, if you have an ear.
Now, if you're beating it, you think the person that you're calling, you feel they got an ear. I get that, right?
Right.
But
Right.
to the point where some people are not equipped to listen. Some people are not equipped to be there for someone else,
Right.
right? So that's the reason why I asked the question, because what do we do besides prayer? Do you go to counseling, see a therapist?
What if prayer tells you that?
Prayer can tell you to go see a counselor. I'm asking you. I said besides prayer. I said what else
Okay.
do you do?
What if somebody calls you out the blue and say, "Hey, man, I just called to hear your voice"?
Oh, that works. Yes, but I'm saying how do you help yourself?
Sometimes that's the answer, bro.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm asking you how you help yourself.
If you if you dealing with shit internally and you struggling with it, you got to reach out to somebody, bro. Somebody that you feel or think, or a stranger. You know what? Most of our answers come from strangers, bro. That's just fact. That's my experience. Come from strangers. And they would hit you with some shit, and you'd be like, I didn't think about it like that.
So
And that puts you in the mind of thinking about the people that you previously reached out to and understand how they couldn't accept or deal with what you brought to them.
what okay.
I mean, that's just how it works, bro. I mean,
No, how it
I don't know.
all right, well that's what do you feel about therapy?
I feel therapy is a good thing. You know what? People think therapy gives you the answers. You want to know what therapy is? Because I've been in therapy twice. You know what therapy does? It gives you action steps to take care of yourself. It makes you understand your triggers. That's what therapy does. If you have what do you call it when you have anxiety and you have panic attacks and shit like that, right? You know what therapy teaches you? What's the triggers to the therapy? What triggered you? And that's where you begin to heal yourself. I got triggered by this. Understanding what you got triggered by tells you what to avoid or address. And then you work through it. You know what I'm saying? And that is all based on you and what you're experiencing, not anybody else. You know what I'm saying? We could all sit back and talk, man, hey man, I like this guy because we have the same issues and we could argue and bitch and piss and moan about our same grievances and shit. We could do that. Or you could try to look for an answer. I can't continue to be in that vein. I can't continue to be in that situation. So I have to find answers to how to heal thy fucking self. And how do you heal yourself, man? You address shit that you're experiencing, what you're going through, and you deal with it. You don't look for allies and shit. That's the worst thing you could do.
Jaquari, what do you think about therapy?
I think therapy is a necessary, useful tool, man. But as Damon said, you need to understand that it's not a cure all. Therapy, psych meds, they're not going to cure you of what's going on in your life. They can help you make hopefully healthy adjustments.
Uh-huh.
So again, as Damon said, the things that trigger you, can have as little effect as possible on you. But and you know, I know a lot of people who started going to therapy and they didn't find the cure all they were looking for, so they stopped. You know, and I ask them, well, what if you would have gotten the answer in the next session?
So
What if all your problems were solved in the next hour you spent on that couch? But since you didn't get instant gratification from it, you gave up on it.
do you think there is a combination? We as human beings, do we combine our companionship problems, our financial problems, our health problems, and ball them into one? Or
Right.
do you guys separate them and address each one as you go?
I think separating, man, only contributes to the things that you're experiencing and going through. Because you feel like you're the only person that's experiencing this shit, this situation. You think you're the only person, and you're not. You know what I'm saying? For example, and this is very personal. I had an argument with my youngest daughter, and I was talking about all the things I experienced in terms of our mother and all of that stuff, right? And she listened because she's a licensed therapist. She listened and she heard everything I was saying and she understood everything that I experienced and I was going through and all that stuff. And you know what she said, man? That bumped my fucking head. She said, all the things that you experienced with your mother, I experienced with you. And that never dawned on me. Never. All those fears and all those things, given my health experience, right? All those fears and all those things that you experienced with your mother, I experienced with your ass. And when she was done crying and all that stuff, I was like, fuck, I never thought about that. I never thought about it. And that was based and rooted in reality. So now she understands all the health stuff I got. She could call my doctor and ask, and they would give her the answer that she needs. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I can give to her. We all go through stuff, man, and we only experience it in real time individually. And we don't see how it affects everybody else. That is a real thing, bro. Brothers. It's a real thing.
Okay.
You have to have an awareness of that.
That's a good
And
point.
in your awareness, and in your awareness, there's functionality there. There's safety. There's understanding. There's all of those different things. And then life becomes different. It's just not all stress and strife and whatever. It's understanding. And it allows people to make their own separate choices within themselves. This is how I'm gonna deal with it now.
My opinion about therapy, when I was younger, you know, I had good health care. And my job occupation, you know, they encourage going to therapists when you're feeling highly stressed. And I thought about it. And I didn't need it at the time, but what I thought about the fact, what would make me go talk to someone? And the conclusion I came to, and I was younger, the conclusion I came to is I don't feel as though, unless it's my mother and father, I don't feel as though I can go to anybody else to talk about how I truly feel. I don't trust that they are in a position to give me the comfort I need or the answers that I seek. So when I talk to people, it is just getting it off of my chest, not looking for an answer. So as I got older, I realized the mistake I made was I personalized it too much, meaning that it is good to talk to somebody who don't have a skin in the game, to get whatever it is off your chest without having to feel obligated to be strong for your loved one when you're trying to tell them how you feel. But to understand, see, the thing I always understood was this: everybody, not everybody that I knew was equipped to listen to me.
That's fair.
They were not equipped to do it, and they really didn't want to do it. And I didn't hold that against them. I wasn't upset about it. But what it was is you feel you bring on extra anxiety if you do not try to get rid of it, to ease the anxiety, to ease the stress. But another thing I realized that when it comes to money, money is forever, you're forever obligated to money and bills as long as you
Right.
live. So if your money and bill situation is not out of control, but it's still out of your hands because you pay your bills and the money leaves. You feel what I'm saying? If you need to get an extra job, you go seek out to get an extra job to bring in extra money. It's just, that's it. So it's not something that you have to concentrate on that builds, that pile it on until before you know it, every anxiety and stressful moment is a giant mountain. And you got to peel it away. You got to strip it away. And sometimes talking to a stranger helps peel some of that away.
Let me ask you a question, bro. Is money really a thing, bro? Do you remember when you didn't have it to the point where you did? Did it change who you are? I mean, my point is, when you didn't have it, you had to do what was necessary to have it. And once you got in a position where you do have it and life is just going along the way it is it really about money? Or is it about situational shit that you're in and overcoming it? So how much do you really value money? Money is just a tool that you use. It's not anything that you worship or any. That's somebody else's thing to think about you outside of your damn life. When you do have the money and you still have the same problems, I don't mean in terms of not having money. I mean in terms of being happy. How much do money matter, bro?
Well, I mean, matters matters a lot. Money's the only thing you can pay your mortgage in. Money's the only thing you can pay your car note in. I mean, you know,
Yeah, but you could go work at fucking Stop and Go and make money to pay your mortgage.
That's a hell of a stop and go.
no, you can't.
Okay, then get a second job.
But well, you know that's what I just said. Kind of the simple fact that I had to. Money was just something to pay my bills. It's
Hey,
what
man,
it is.
who was it in our family? I believe it was a woman. But who was it in our family that said the two jobs was for two motherfuckers?
Our daddy said that.
Okay.
Our daddy said that. He said 2 jobs is for 2 motherfuckers, son. Work the one you got. If you work it long enough, you can get the things you want. That was his exact words. And you want to know the truth? He was fucking right.
Technically, yeah. Technically, yeah, he was.
I worked fucked up jobs, man. Matter of fact, the jobs I worked in my past is affecting my health now. And now I'm in a position not to worry about money. I'm still thinking the same fucking way. I still have the same attitude. It gotta be like this, and it gotta be like that, and this and that. And guess what? Once you in that, think about this, man. For the average person who grind their whole lives and taking care of other people and all that stuff, right? Imagine if those other people that they're taking care of is taking care of themselves. What would their life be like? But you live and die with the struggle. You live and die with it because you think that's how it's supposed to be, and it's not. Not recognizing and realizing that you're in a place to make, if you have a significant other, life good. And having the expectation of your kids following your example and having a great life for them damn self, for their damn self. But you still in that mindset and that attitude, hey man, it's about the money. It's not.
I, all right. I think it's kind of, sort of, not completely, but sort of a slippery slope when it comes to finances, because sometimes you want things and you have to sacrifice to get them. Now, once you get them, will you feel the same way on the pathway as you felt to want them? Who knows? It don't really make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Because if you dictate, see, me personally, I can honestly say that I have evolved past who I was at 20, and now that I'm 61. I'm not the same person. I don't think the same. I don't see
Right.
things the same way. I just don't. My patience is so much better, and I see my life. I see life through the kind of lens. I see life through the kind of lens where I have a, what they say in TV terms, 7 second delay in how I react to things. You know, um, no, this just last question of the day. If it's anything that you can change about who you are, whether it's big or small, what would it be?
I would change I would change my need to casually correct people because it's off putting, and I don't like when people do it to me.
Okay. Give us an example of casually correct.
Yeah. I need an example.
Now, I mean, I know it's many out there, but I want to know the one that's your weapon of choice, Jaquar.
Right. I want to hear his example. Right. You absolutely right, bro.
I don't necessarily have one, but I mean, just like for instance, all right, everybody knows the story of John Henry, right?
Uh-huh.
Or you think you know the story of John Henry. What happened at the end of that story?
I think I've seen that, Jaquar, but go ahead.
Yeah, everybody, you know, and then what did they? I forget. It's not the Mandela, nah, but everybody thinks that you know John Henry, you know, he bored a hole through a mountain and then he died. You know,
Right.
or at least that's what Disney put out there. But that's not what it that's not what it said in the book. He didn't finish it. He died before he finished it.
Right.
Oh, no, he was dying before he finished it, and his wife actually picked up the hammer and finished it.
Yep.
You know, and that's you know, I saying little stuff like that. Don't nobody give a fuck about that. They don't give a shit. And who am I to fuck up decades of goddamn childhood experience?
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And when somebody does it to me, I'm like, man, you know, it don't matter what you say. You're not gonna fuck this up for me. I have a picture of how this shit is gonna go in my mind, and until I get graded on it or earn money from it, that's how it's gonna be.
No doubt. No
So
doubt.
that's yeah. I find it to be a toxic trait to me, man. Well, one of my more toxic traits. Correcting people casually.
Right.
Gotcha.
My experience is slightly different, bro. We had a grandfather who worked 2 jobs for 30 years and retired. You think about all the things that he accomplished and supported everybody, right? When it was time for him to retire, where did he die? On a fucking boat, on a fucking river. You know what I'm saying? And when you thinking about it in this negative, like, oh man, how the hell that shit happened, whatever, right? But he committed his life to that. He was an example of what a real man is.
All right, Damon. That's a good point, but the question was, what would you change about yourself?
Okay, what I would change about myself, man, real talk. What would change about myself is this, man. Understanding, recognizing his legacy.
Okay.
And understand commitment is a motherfucker. No matter what people say about you, how they perceive to treat you or whatever, if you are consistent in that and that is your legacy, that matters and it means something. And it's something that everybody else can build and grow from. I think about the big picture. I think about the commitments. That's what it is. As far as my life, you know what I'm you want to know what I think about? Because I know my wife is successful. I know all 3 of my kids are successful. I know their husbands and stuff. I know all that shit. They have to live their own lives as it comes to them and whatever they decide. As long as they do necessary things, my son included, to persevere and move forward, then I can rest and sleep with that. I can. What I would change is this. Understanding that they put in the work to be those individuals, man. You know what I'm saying? They put in the work to be those individuals, and up to this point, they're very successful at it. My job is to deal with my grandchild now, to put her in the same position where she can live that type of life, where she can persevere and be whatever she can. That's all I know. I don't know shit else other than that. And that's grind, that's work. None of us ever took shortcuts, man. You know what I'm saying? And that is set in stone. That is what it is. That is our experience. I've been knowing that from our grandfather on down. You know what I'm saying? So what I would change, bro, is my attitude in terms of, all right, I have to be consistent instead of thinking about my own things and what I'm struggling with. I've been that stalwart motherfucker. I've been that example. I've been that supportive. What I would change is being selfish, thinking about my own pitiful ass bullshit, dealing with health issues and all that. No, man, I'm successful in being supportive in these lives, just like my grandfather, just like my father.
Malika asked you a question on the screen, Damon.
I show up for them. So it's a girl every day. As a matter of fact, sometimes I have this delusional thought where, you know what? After all that's been said and done, is it my time to be selfish? My elders went. Why should I be different? You know what I'm saying? I got to keep up that mantle. I got to be that. And that means something because I see success. Not only in my own personal family, but my extended family. Because of the sacrifices they made, I see success. So I show up that way. Sometimes I don't recognize it. Sometimes because I'm going through my own selfish whatever way, and I'm thinking, damn, me staying in Albany for the last 30 years, man, I didn't expect to be here this long. But me being here bore out fruit. Success. Rooted in the community. And that shit means something.
So Damon, to reiterate your answer, what would you change? Because I know you were.
Well, what change?
Yeah.
I'll
put that on the screen. Go ahead.
What I would change, bro, is my attitude, man. That's what I would change. I would change my attitude. You know what I'm saying? I would look at it different, seeing what fruits it bore, what fruits it bore out and all that. You know what I'm saying? I would be more positive towards it. I would. Because at the end of the day, what it is that I really want, hell, I want me and my wife to get us a damn mobile home and travel the country. But I have responsibilities, man. Even with success, I still feel like I have responsibilities. And maybe that's who I am. And maybe that's what I was put on this earth to be. Can I talk about individual successes? Yeah, I could point to a few things, a handful of things, but in terms of my responsibility, in terms of my family, oh, shit. Let's see what happens. Because in my experience, everybody that I'm responsible for have opportunities to be better if they choose to do so. And that's their shit. I just put them in as best of my abilities to put them in positions to be better than me. And they've done it. So, you know, there's going to be a time when I can rest. But I still have that mindset. I can't wait to see what the hell else they do. That ain't in my hands. That's them.
So, me, what I would change is being more selfish with my time.
Dude, that ain't you.
Be more
You about everybody else, bro.
No, I'm not all about everybody else, but I'm accommodating.
Shit.
I'm
You're
accommodating.
very accommodating.
So, throughout my life, every choice that I made, I stand by them. Every mistake that I made, I stand by them. So it's not about that. It's about the simple fact that when people think you have a reservoir of patience and understanding, and you act as if you have a giant reservoir of patience and understanding, you lose your way. This is my opinion. You lose your way. And what I mean by losing your way, sometimes you forget about you. When at that moment, you're supposed to be thinking about you. Then it gets smashed together. So when you take, I put some thought in this, but when everything's so smashed together, because for some reason, maybe I was trained up to be this way. It's not my personality, because hell, it's easy to cross my mind and say, man, I don't feel like dealing with this bullshit.
It is kind of your personality, but
no, it's not. My personality is I don't feel like dealing with this bullshit, but guess what I do? I do it anyway. That's why I said what I would change is giving out my personal time. You see what I'm saying? Because I've done that in a repetitive way. And just like I said, understand every choice that I made, I have no regrets about them. So it has nothing to do with that.
right.
It has the simple fact and really the simple notion that really and truly, when you talk to people, especially when you get older, you feel like these motherfuckers don't appreciate shit. Don't appreciate excuse me, folks in the comment, but my brothers heard me. Don't appreciate a fucking thing.
Right.
But the thing about it is, I feel good about helping people. But like I said, if I could change it, at least 50-50, I would. With that being said, final words for the evening. We went over two. Didn't mean to do that. Final words for the evening. Jaquari, what you got?
Fellas, I kind of enjoyed this evening's conversation. No, no, I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, fellas, and I look forward to the next. Y'all be safe.
Damon, what you got?
My final word, bro. If you was to be selfish, man, how would you live out the rest of your life, bro? Put understanding all the frustration which you put in. If you was to decide and had a choice to live out the rest of your life, what would you do?
I would live out the rest of my life like I'm doing. You know what I'm saying?
Taking care of other motherfuckers, right?
No, I live. I live, bro. See, you understand. It's just a simple fact that I said that people don't appreciate what you do for them. That was the
I'm
whole
asking
premise.
you,
That was the premise of my answer to the question. That's all.
if you was to be selfish,
I'm not.
how would you live the rest of your life?
I said more selfish of my time, man. I'm not saying to you, you think I'm trying to avoid it. What I said, be more selfish of my time.
I'm
Because
not thinking about anything. I'm asking you.
I need you to give us the last words because I said what I said, killer.
Okay, ask me that question.
I'm not gonna ask you because you already know who the fuck you are.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I'm not gonna ask you.
I gotta
Give me
catch
some final
Ask me
words.
that question. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I want.
I
I'm gonna
get
tell
it.
you exactly what it is.
I get it. But go ahead and give us final words, bro.
Final words is this, man. Tonight is one of those nights, man, where we sitting in my fucking basement or either one of y'all basements and we just talking to each other and asking honest questions and all that stuff. And I appreciate that. I appreciate it, man, because I know we're not going to lie to each other or mislead each other in any fucking way. We're going to tell each other the damn truth. And I think that's rare in this world that we're living in. And I, for one, want to say that I truly appreciate it, man, because the world we're living in is crazy as hell. And it's not about the individual. You learn, you listen, and you grow with the persons and the people that you love, man, and that you trust and you're willing to speak your mind with. You know what I'm saying? And I think that gives you peace moving forward. I think that gives you at least something that you can stand on. And I trust both of y'all. You're my brothers, and I love y'all.
Love you too, brother.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I just appreciate it, bro. Because it's like, I just appreciate it.
Look, we know you don't cry like that. You be like, "Eh, motherfucker."
I cry more than you think. I was watching the fucking video with his son and a son and mother, man, had a situation with each other, and everybody kept saying, "Man, hey, what's wrong?" Nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because I cried. I'm a motherfucking man. You know what I'm saying? I learned how to cry.
On that note, my last words is this. I'm gonna share this with y'all. I was talking to this old head, right? And
Damn.
as I got old, you know, no,
Was it recently? How old was the motherfucker, Keith? Goddamn.
He was older than me, so you know he was old. He was a senior.
So he had it was ARP and shit.
Yeah, you get that at
He get them letters.
Yeah, hold on now. I got the ARP.
Yeah, you get that at 50. Look, no. This is some real stuff. Now I'm gonna leave that with something. He said, "Hey man, you know why when men get older, they talk about, you know, men get older, they get sentimental. They either get angry or they get sentimental, right?
They do. That's true."
He said, the men who get angry and get misty-eyed and all that and get sentimental, he said, they don't realize as we grow up, when we're born, we have a little piece of, God leaves a piece of himself inside us. When we're younger, we've been moving and ripping and running and don't even realize it. We pray to heaven when we should be praying to ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? Because God is within us, right? He said, when we get sentimental as older men, is we realize God is with us the whole time.
You know what people need to understand, man, about older men? it's not that we cut people off or be detrimental to motherfuckers and none of that shit. We just tired. We just get tired. We were like, okay, man, I can't make that argument anymore. I'm gonna let shit be where it's gonna be, and I'm gonna go over here. Protecting my. You told me this shit 10 years ago, Keith. Fruit, protect your peace, nigga.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you now. Understand. I hope this reach everybody that you can look up and pray to heaven, but God hear you because He's inside of you. Please go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate it. Build our numbers up. This is year 6 for us, and many episodes. But let your friends know we're here next Friday, 7:30. Please go like, share, and subscribe. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. Good night.